The Monk's kit is something very unique to Clash Royale, and it leaves a lot of questions on some specific interactions, which we're going to cover here today for you in this little Mythbuster, starting out with this one. Can the Monk deflect the lightning spell? And if so, where does he deflect it to? Well, the lightning isn't a projectile, so the Monk is unfortunately not able to stop that oncoming lightning. This clip also answers this next question: is the Monk immortal when using his ability Pensive Protection? And the answer is no. The Monk has an 80% damage reduction whilst in Pensive Protection for all damage he does not reflect. Similarly to the first question, we want to know, can the Monk deflect Inferno attacks, like the Inferno Tower and Dragon? Well, we've got the Dragon here to see, and it does not deflect the damage, but he does have that damage reduction against it. Can the Monk deflect the Executioner's axe? Well, it is a projectile, so let's see what it looks like. It does deflect the Executioner, and look at that. Because he doesn't have to recall it every single time, look at how quickly he keeps throwing it. Let's see it even closer. The axe has the same travel distance, it seems, no matter where it's deflected from, so it can actually hit things behind the Executioner. Very cool. Does the Monk snare the Ram Rider when deflecting her projectiles? Let's see if she gets slowed down when he deflects those snares, and yes, she does. Something also useful to note that using the ability like this, then following it up with his free hit combo, allows the Monk to be a neutral elixir full counter for the Ram Rider. Can the Monk deflect the Tesla shots? I'm going to assume that it cannot, because similarly to the lightning, it's not actually a projectile that it's firing, so myth busted. Here's another tower to try. Can the Monk deflect the mortar? The mortar does fire projectiles, unlike the Tesla, and yes, it does deflect the mortar shots back at the mortar. Here's an interesting one. Can the Monk deflect the Electro Giant? Now, the Monk can deflect things even when they're shot at something next to him, so let's see what happens when these goblins and tower get struck. And unfortunately, the same thing as the Tesla and lightning, a fat nope. Can the Monk deflect the Barbarian Barrel? Now, if he can, this would make the Monk able to deflect a troop, and because that barrel is a projectile initially, he can indeed deflect the Barbarian Barrel. Can the Monk deflect the log? And this is a simple question since we know the Barbarian Barrel. Yes, it does. Can the Monk deflect a rocket to the King Tower? Now, the tower he is nearest to is the King Tower on his side, but alas, he will still deflect it to the Crown Tower on whichever side he is deployed on. Can the Monk deflect the Fisherman's hook? And if so, does the Fisherman get pulled in instead, or what happens? So the Fisherman does use hook again and again, but it is deflected off the Monk each and every time. Can the Monk turn the Mother Witch into a pig? So if the Monk can deflect these projectiles, which he indeed can, he will eventually, and if timed right, turn the Mother Witch into a pig. Phenomenal. Here's an interesting one. Can the Monk deflect the Royal Delivery? He does fall from the sky, but it looks like no, the Monk cannot deflect the Royal Delivery. Now, we know that the Monk can deflect projectiles, but can it deflect the minion horde shots? The answer to this one will be the same for the normal minions and Mega Minion 2, and he actually can. Now, some of you are probably like, well, that was obvious, Clowner, don't be a tart. But if you take a look at the minion horde, you will see that it comes under a melee long range, not a projectile, so that is interesting to see. And the final question we have on this list for today is to answer what happens with Pensive Protection when they use freeze. So here's the freeze spell. It does not deflect, but the Monk is not actually frozen in there, so that ability will last the normal duration of the 4 seconds. If you have any further myths you want busted, leave them down below and I can answer them for you.